Good morning and welcome to the Tri-State Dairy Exchange webinar series. Our theme for 2026 is Advancing Dairy Systems Through Technology, and we're super excited to focus our April, May, and June presentations on precision agriculture technology, tools, and systems that support decision-making not just in the barn, but also out in the fields. And today, Ben and Matt from the Dairy One team join us to discuss the integrated suite of laboratory, data, and technology services designed to empower dairy and livestock producers with the information and tools they need to support decision-making on multiple levels. From soil and forage analysis to milk testing, herd management software, and agronomic consulting, their team uses data-driven tools and systems to help farms enhance productivity, animal health, and operational efficiency. Coming up next in May, we'll be joined by the Track Tracker Pro team to learn about their next level crop and nutrient management technology and automation solutions. And in June, we will be joined by our very own University of Vermont Extension Precision Agriculture Technology experts, Daniel and Jeff, to hear about what is new and exciting in the Northeast. And if you've missed any of our previous webinars, they can be viewed on the University of Vermont Extension Northwest Crops and Soils YouTube channel. And if you would like to share the registration link for this webinar series, you can scan the QR code here. I'm going to advance the slide, please.
All set.
The mission of the Tri-State Dairy Extension team is to advance dairy management, address shared industry challenges, and foster innovation through collaborative educational programs across northern New England, specifically Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Next. Our team is made up of a group of extension folks who are passionate about cows, farmers, and our dairy industry. Glenda at the University of Maine, Sarah at the University of New Hampshire, and Whitney, Kelsey, and I at the University of Vermont Extension. Next. We are gearing up for a season packed with workshops and events across our 3 states. And when you're in your vehicle traveling to and from these happenings, make sure you're listening to the most recent Maine Farmcast episode. There are new episodes released every Wednesday, and most recently the team discussed the Northeast Livestock Expo and opportunities for youth education and livestock judging at that event. And New Hampshire will be facilitating the Farm, Forest, and Garden Expo, as well as the Sheep and Wool Festival at the beginning of May. And you can check their events page for details about the Granite State Grazers summer events. In Vermont, coming up in a couple weeks, our extension grazing team will be hosting a pasture walk in Randolph at Wild Earth Farm to discuss integrated pest management strategies, pollinator and dung beetle monitoring, and grazing strategies to reduce parasite load and dewormer resistance. That's on May 14th. And there's still a couple of days to nominate farms for the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. Applications will be accepted until Friday, May 1st. Also, our UVM Extension Dairy team is busy planning a great lineup of farm tours across the state featuring progressive dairy operations who are taking unique approaches to technology, management, systems, and markets to adapt and remain viable. So please stay tuned to our monthly newsletter and our conferences and events page. And I believe that Shannon will be adding a whole bunch of related links into the chat. Next. All right, I'm switching it up for this month's featured resource because this opportunity hasn't even happened yet. The folks at Balchem are facilitating a conversation that really aligns with our theme of technology and data use for dairy producers. And I think this will be a great discussion to tune into about the direction we're headed. It's a virtual event that will be held on May 12th, and you can register on the Balchem website. Next. All right, thanks for bearing with us so far. If you've milked cows both ends of the day for days or weeks or months or years on end, you probably already know that one of your most valued relationships is with your Dairy One milk tester. They show up once a month. They visit you for an entire milking from start to finish, often long before the sun comes up, and they bring news of the outside world in case you haven't left your farm since the last time they were there. And of course, they collect samples and information that will provide you with all the important milk quality information needed to make decisions. In my experience, these on-farm technicians from Dairy One are some of the kindest and most wonderful souls who will ever come into your life. And I've always looked forward to test day. As it turns out, Dairy One offers so much more than friends who will come visit your farm once a month, as long as you pay your bill. This is a company that has truly evolved to meet the needs of the dairy industry across multiple levels, and we're so pleased to be joined by Matt and Ben today to hear about all of the exciting services and programs and technologies that Dairy One is bringing onto our farms. So Matt, if you want to share your screen and take it away, we appreciate you being here today.
That's great, Amber. Really appreciate that kind introduction, and that really resonates with the folks that I've worked with, and very kind. Thank you. Thank you, all of you at the Tri-State Dairy Exchange, for inviting Ben and I. It's a great opportunity, and really look forward to next bit of time here to tell you a bit about what we do at Dairy One. Amber mentioned we provide test day services, and what Ben and I will be talking about are some other items that we work through. My first slide here indicates that I work with the team called Integrated Farming Solutions, and I'd like to center on our mission statement. We're focused on developing, selling, and supporting Dairy One services that make good decisions and completing jobs on farm efficiently. The two items that I'll be talking about today, the two pieces of software that I'll be talking about today, we believe help farms succeed. And where we sit, or where we believe we sit across dairies, not only in the Northeast, but also coast to coast, is really in what we call this technology cycle. We believe that we can influence milk production, as Amber mentioned, with our test day services. What I'll be speaking about today influences nutrition and herd health, and what Ben will be speaking about a bit later really relate to crop production and nutrient management, nutrient recycling. And so we're well positioned here at Dairy One to impact each one of those areas. This is what we call our technology cycle. A key phrase that I'd have you remember is at Dairy One, we measure it so you can manage it. That's really the services we provide so that you can manage your dairies. The first piece of software I'll talk about so that you can manage your dairies is called Bovisync. Bovisync is a herd management software used to manage your dairy herd. It's unique in several ways. One of the ways in which it's unique is that it's web-based. You don't install a program on your computer. It's just as easy as opening up a website. I'll also note that it's easily approachable. And what I mean by that is much like the apps that each of you use every day, there is not a owner's manual to those applications. You open them up and just start using them. They're built to be intuitive. And that's exactly how Bovisync was built and is constructed, is that it's an intuitive piece of software. Another item I'll identify, and I'll speak to this a bit later, is that it verifies tasks. Each task or chore that's performed is assigned to an individual, and we know who did those and when they did them. As I say, I'll speak about that a bit later. There's also robust reporting built into this tool as well. Okay, so let's look at a few items and a few screenshots. I'll get to those. But how do we improve management with Bovisync? First off, another unique item about Bovisync is that it has a standardized database. Many of you in the dairy industry know, and it's easy to talk about with milk fever, there are no less than a half a different ways to report a milk fever. And that sort of flexibility is fantastic at each one of your dairies so that you can do tasks the way that you would like to do them. However, when it comes to reporting or anybody in extension would know if I go to your dairy and I want to compare your dairy to another dairy, that's very difficult to do when two different owners uh, report health events two different ways. How Bovisync solves that is by allowing you to do your data entry how you choose to. And in the background, we map that to a standardized database so that when it comes time to compare two different locations, it is an apples to apples comparison so that we can make good decisions through extension or consultation or even here at Dairy One. We collect data efficiently, cow side. I mentioned it has an app, and we carry the folks that we support, Bovisync, on farm. They carry a phone with them, cow side, and enter all the data cow side. It doesn't get any more efficient than that. And we also gain wisdom through powerful tools that can take that data with a modern web interface, and we can build reports that you can take action on. The mobile app is clear guidance through this screen here. If we want to go right into chores, chores would be something like a dry cow, drying off cows, or vaccinations, or a breeding list. You can enter an event directly from this application, whether it's a freshening or even a breeding, if it's a one-off. We can also go right into the vet check screen and enter event information when the veterinarian shows up. There's a unique feature called pen scoring. And while it might be a bit of a misnomer with pen scoring, it's simply a way to uh, objectively collect data across your herd. We can walk across the herd and do TDEN scoring. We could do body scoring, lameness scoring, and all that data we could enter in that particular module and report on at a later date. Here's a few screenshots just to give you a flavor. The first screenshot on the left is a dry cow vaccination. And so all the animals that are eligible for vaccination show up on my phone. And as I tap on those animals, you see at the top portion of the screen, they get put into a queue, and they are highlighted by that green banner around them. And as soon as they're in that queue and I administer a vaccination in this case, I tap on them and they leave the queue and then they're completed. Not only do they leave the list and leave the queue, but as I'm logged in as an user, it timestamps that interaction with that animal as well as denotes who did it. And in this case, it was whomever was logged in with the app. The middle screen is a look at what a cow information would look like. So we can put data here about what pen she's in, her repro status, how many times she's been bred, and of course this is all customizable. But say I had a breeder show up to the farm and this particular cow was in heat. Here's some information that might be pertinent if she's almost 90 days carried calf and confirmed pregnant. Those are some things I might check cow side. Lastly, on the right, there's a list of examples of what chores might be, whether I'm chalking animals, um, checking on a list of sick cows, or enrolling them in different heat programs. I'll spend just a brief amount of time on reporting. What I want to draw your attention to, as I mentioned, that Bovisync is a standardized database. And one of the benefits is I can do multi-herd reporting. I can pull in, if I have access to multiple farms as they grant me access through the web browser, I can pull in multiple herds and run a report across 6, 7, 10 herds and compare them. And I can do that because all of the data is the same in the background. Okay, wrapping up with Bovisync, really three things to remember. Bovisync is farm focused. We've partnered with Bovisync because they want to see dairies improve and they want to be a part of that. Secondly, which is really important and gets a lot of attention particularly with AI and data centers. But there's a lot of discussion around data ownership. Bovis Inc. is very clear on data ownership. All the data that comes from the farm belongs to the farm, and Bovis Inc. is not in the business of reselling your data. They're in the business of selling software. Lastly, as we've partnered with Bovis Inc., our desire is to be available, whether it means on farm, on phone, in person, and not only to you, but your advisors. And there's many ways to get a hold of Dairy One. Okay, before I pivot, I spoke about Bovisync. Before I pivot, I do want to spend a few seconds on introducing you to my team at large. My team work, as I mentioned, coast to coast, and there's almost 20 of us on the team, and they're all as passionate and excited to work with dairy producers as Ben and I are. We have that great opportunity to be part of the food chain, and it's a very worthwhile endeavor. And these folks here live from Georgia to northern New York to western and eastern New York. They've cover a broad range, broad territory. Okay, I want to wrap up my conversation and talk about FeedLink. FeedLink is a feeding management software where we can develop a ration and deliver this to animals and know that it's delivered consistently and formulated in the correct way. FeedLink 2 is also a cloud-based program. Now, by now, you may be thinking that a cloud-based program, and do I want to put my information online, and do I need the internet in order to feed my cows and in order to work with my cows? Both of these programs, while being cloud-based, have the benefit of also operating offline. You do not need internet, full-time internet, to operate either one of these programs. And I would challenge the fact that having a cloud-based program is, there are many opportunities to share your data with your advisors, as well as keep a current platform and easier to maintain than on-premise software. There are three parts to this particular system. As you see in the top picture, there's a black box that connects to your feed wagon. The one cable is power from the tractor or the truck, and the other cable is connected to the J box, which connects to the load bars or weigh cells on your mixer. So really easy to hook up. We've had people self-install. You swap that out with the existing scale head and plug that in. The other two parts would be, as you see in the bottom, a tablet. This tablet would be in your loader vehicle, whether it's a skid steer or payloader, telling you what to do next and what to load next. And then the other tablet would be in the tractor or truck as you feed out. Okay, what does FeedLink do? There's really three things that it does. It tracks accuracy, increases our efficiency, and monitors our inventory. Our accuracy can be tracked simply by keeping information based off who is feeding and how good of a job they're doing. And if they're overfeeding certain ingredients or underfeeding, that can be communicated to the consultant or the owner. We increase the efficiency by giving our off-farm staff the ability to manage the ration from wherever. So I mentioned it's a web-based program. They don't need to come to your dairy to change the ration at the farm. They could log in from any computer anywhere to get that job done. Lastly, monitoring inventory. I'll speak about that here in a bit, but I wanted to lay the groundwork for that. Okay, here's a simple picture of what this may look like in a truck. It's a little complicated by a few other items this truck has going on, but the tablet with the 0 on it and the gray FeedLink box are the only two items in that truck needed to feed cows. The other items aren't related to FeedLink. Okay, what would be a good fit for this FeedLink system? I've identified several places we've been very successful in talking about FeedLink. Number one, farms still using feed sheets. So if you're using a feed sheet or a spreadsheet, there may be some opportunity there to increase accuracy and efficiency on the ration that it's being delivered to the animals. I would say the second condition, if your current software isn't meeting minimum needs, if there are support needs or service needs that are in the way of a successful adoption, those have been areas that we've been helpful. On-farm truck scale users, I mentioned inventory a moment ago. FeedLink has an additional module that interfaces with the truck scale, and I can weigh in all of my commodities, and those numbers go directly into FeedLink so that I know my inventories. Whether it's cornmeal or soy meal, we have farms that are also weighing in corn silage harvest and haylage, so they know all of their inventories for the year. And then, of course, that automatically feeds out as we make rations and feed those animals. So there's an opportunity. Likewise, FeedLink also has a module that interacts with upright bins. It will automatically turn on the motor after the feeder, of course, hits a particular button. The motor turns on and it will turn off automatically as soon as the correct amount of concentrate is delivered into the mixer. Lastly, I'll highlight dairies that enter refusals so that they can either use as part of the ration or enter refusals to get a correct dry matter intake. That can be done because it's a web-based program. That can be done right from an application on their phone from the individual who's in the payloader or skid steer. It might even be someone who isn't related to feeding at all, but just so happens to be that's their job. But it can be easily entered. Those are the two programs I wanted to cover, FeedLink and Bovisync, herd management and feed management software. And I'm sure, Amber, you'll feed this out, but I wanted to make sure folks on the call to jot this down if you had a moment. Here's a way to get a hold of myself or Ben as far as that goes in terms of email and phone option and text option as well.
Great. Thank you, Matt. And just a reminder, if anyone has any questions or comments, just put them in the chat and then we'll get a chance to ask everybody at the end. And Ben, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon and Amber, for having us. As Matt said, it's a real pleasure and privilege to have Dairy One and Agricultural Consulting Services engaged with your stakeholders, because those are our stakeholders too. So we're excited to be a part of this webinar series. I'm Ben Weikert. I've been at ACS, Agricultural Consulting Services, for about 4 months. Some of you, if you're in Vermont, you might be current ACS customers. If you haven't heard of ACS before, we are the crop side and the environmental compliance side of Dairy One, and we are a subsidiary of Dairy One. Today, I'm going to talk with you about our emerging technology product, which is called Twine.ag. And Twine.ag was developed when Dairy One engaged My Farms, which is a software development company, when we were looking for a strategy for upgrading our software system that supported dairy farmers and other agricultural producers in the way of precision agronomy and regulatory compliance practices. In the last few years, we've made a significant amount of progress toward implementing that strategy to meet those needs. And we're currently working on phase 3 of developing Twine. Twine.ag is a usable program that we're using on farms across the northeastern United States to support agronomy and regulatory compliance practices now. And it's only going to get better as we continue to work with wonderful producers like you. So Twine.ag is a partnership between ACS, which is the subsidiary of Dairy One, and My Farms. So the vision for Twine.ag was to deliver a dairy-specific crop management platform that could be used by professional crop consultants, farmers, and environmental planners. And we were hoping that Twine would enable agronomists, retailers, seed agronomists, and TSPs to pool their knowledge together and work on behalf of the dairy producer. And one of our goals was to bridge the digital divide between precision agronomy and regulatory compliance. One of the great things about Twine, similar to some of the products that Matt has shared with you, is that it is so intuitive, so easy to use, and it's web-based. And that gives our farmers better opportunity for efficiency and streamlining their procedures, even things like data entry. So, to go along with that, we wanted to design a platform that would have us have access to field level data, but not have to be entered at the field level for efficiency reasons. And a lot of times, for those of you that maybe have a CAFO or already have a nutrient management plan in place, a lot of times you are entering data twice or three times for use by your agronomy consultant or use for your environmental planner. And our goal with Twine and what we've seen is our farmers are spending a lot less time on data management and entry, which is a really exciting feature. And this software already uses existing data sources, and that is one of our hopes is to help you achieve your goals with your existing platforms. So Twine can be used with your John Deere platform already, which really enables a seamless integration of the software service. So Twine is based on a couple of different major milestones, which includes things like variable rate prescriptions, which includes things like potash, lime, nitrogen, variable rate seeding. And a lot of that is based on our yield data and soil samples. We also have really up-to-date maps for New York and New England that allowed us to provide environmental compliance setbacks. So we're making sure that Twine is not only a precision agronomic tool, but also is in alignment with our environmental needs. So soil sampling is at the core of what we do at ACS, regardless of what type of service we're providing for your farm. And it's required for calculating manure application rates that are regulated in CAFOs and allows us to handle setbacks automatically in Twine. Twine gives us an ability to unlock additional value for driving variable rate prescriptions and helps us to build soil fertility by influencing our fertility decisions over time. So we're going to look at a couple examples of Twine kind of in action, including how the homepage and some of the other features that we have in Twine allows us to integrate with our soil sampling results, as well as our maps and other features. And this allows us to look at the data and help us make management decisions in a couple of different ways. So here you can see a field map that we're able to zone out. So your agronomy consultant is able to work with you in drawing out soil sampling zones. And we can also look at the soil sampling at a different level. So we can look at it at the section or field level. Twine also allows us, if we're going to be looking at grid sampling procedures, it allows us to plan for those types of work orders as well, which is really exciting. So as you can see here, we're able to draw grids within the platform, which allows us to have more prescriptive management practices for those fields. So you can see every field has its own shape file, its own legend, and we're able to provide much more prescriptive recommendations for nutrient management, for soil fertility, because we're able to utilize Twine in such unique ways. Here you can see, again, additional sections of fields. And here we can see that these are actually our lab results that have come in. So we're able to look at potassium, we're able to look at calcium, we're able to then look at these fields on a much more micro scale so that we can have different and better variable rate prescriptions. So this is a cool example how you can see that based on these sections of fields, we have big discrepancies in terms of the recommendations we would make. And if you are more of a data person and less of a visual person, we also have the opportunity to look at our lab results in more of a chart format. So this makes it a lot easier to manage and manipulate data as needed. And again, this is our lab results tab. So Twine is really designed to be integrated with any type of existing agronomic or environmental platform that you're currently using on your farm. One of the things, again, that I mentioned that's really exciting is with this precision, we're able to offer more variable rate recommendations, which will save you time and money and also increase the soil fertility on your operation. Here you can see that these are sections of a field that are side by side with each other. And when we're looking at a calcium carbonate product, for instance, Twine has recommended a 2.5 ton application rate per acre, as opposed to just the other section of the field just east of that, where we're looking just at a 1 ton prescription. So this allows us to save money and be more efficient as we're looking to build efficiency and productivity of our agronomic acres. So Twine also gives us a great opportunity for not only data management, but also for manure management, milestone management, and kind of what Matt was saying about the chores. This allows us to really keep track of what's going on in our field sections and throughout our operation. It also, since it integrates directly with our other types of software, for instance, Raven Viper or John Deere, we're able to download prescription files that integrate seamlessly with those other platforms. So Twine was really designed not to be an additional thing, but to bring all of your farm and agronomic data together to help you make more efficient decisions and save you money. One of the things we also wanted to talk about today a little bit was yield data. We're able to take a lot of data from things like your John Deere platform that helps us to make better precision agriculture decisions. Twine gives us a unique ability to cleanse the data so that we can implement better agronomic practices. And so Twine does all of that work for us automatically, which takes out some of the human error. It also makes things a lot more efficient and quicker for you on your farming operation. So here you can see this is an example of how we would manage our John Deere connection, for instance. We can import field boundaries, maps as applied, as planted maps, and also yield maps, which is a very exciting thing for those of you that use any type of platform like this. And here we can see this is what Twine would get from your app that already exists. And we have the automatic data cleansing feature that allows us to see a variable rate yield over time. So here we can see this is the cleansed field, and we're showing a 94% yield rate year over year compared to the other fields on the operation. It also gives us a unique ability to look at our different field productivity and compare where we're at in terms of yield. So this can help farmers make decisions about soil fertility or maybe culling a field from their agronomic practices. And a feature that we're really excited about that we know many of our farmers need, no matter what size of farm, is having a place to have your manure logs be stored and be readily available. So for anybody that has a CAFO permit, if you're in New York or if you're in Vermont or other states, I know they use a different term, whether it's like an LFO, an MFO. So whatever your CAFO permit needs, we have to make sure that we have a manure log that allows us to store our nutrient information that's in a manure so that we can have fertilizer calculations. It also allows us to have a max spread area that's calculated based on sensitive water features and application methods. So if you're going to drill in manure, for instance, or inject rather, if you're going to have a drag line, if you're going to broadly applicate manure, we can calculate those rates based on your application method. So here's an example of what the manure log looks like, which allows, again, really good and seamlessly integrated data management for any size farm. So that was a kind of basic overview of what twine.ag can provide you. It does a lot more than those few features we highlighted today, but a couple of key points. Twine is integratable with any existing platform that you use. Twine is also allows you to make more efficient and effective management choices for your agronomic or cropping side of your operation. And Twine's really intuitive and easy to use. I'm not an agronomist, and I know how to make a map in Twine. And I say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So ACS, for those of you that don't know, not only do we offer twine.ag for our clients, but we also offer other aspects of agronomic planning. We offer soil sampling, which can include fertility recommendations. We also offer environmental compliance products. We have our own internal GIS and mapping service, which can support developing shape files or fields. And of course, that is integrated into Twine as well. For those of you that are expanding your operations, we also offer a Section 180 tax service, which can capture existing nutrients in your newly attained ground and provide you with a tax deduction. At ACS, we're really proud of the relationships and partnerships we have with farmers. Most of our farms have been with us for over 10 years, and I think in this business, that's something to really be proud of. And we hope that you consider utilizing Twine and letting us know what types of help we can provide you to grow your cropping operation. And I know we're saving questions, I think, for the very end. But again, I'm Ben Weikert. I'd love to hear from you if you have questions or concerns about Twine. We'd love to work with you and see how ACS and Dairy One can support your farm. And please check us out at twine.ag or shoot me an email at benweikert@acscrops.com.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and share the presentation again. Yeah, so if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or unmute, come off and ask Ben and Matt all about all of that software.
I also put some links into the chat if you'd like to take a look too. ACS, of course, you can find all of our information on the Dairy One website, but I also included our own websites as well as the twine.ag homepage. So for further information on ACS or Twine, I also put those links in the chat.
Great. Thank you. No questions, no comments? Or anyone else want to add anything? Anyone from the team?
We have our CEO and COO also on the call today.
Oh.
So,
Well, if you guys want to add anything, feel free.
You heard from the smart guys already. So I don't want to temper anything that they said, but proud of both of these managers and leaders for what they do across our business sector.
Thank you. All right. So if nobody has any questions or further comments, and feel free to put them in the chat or unmute if you do have any last questions or comments. But it looks like up next month in May, as Amber said earlier, we'll have the Tracker Pro team coming on to discuss their next level crop and nutrient management, tracking and automation. So Tracker Pro is a real-time geolocation and operational tracking platform purpose-built for dairy, manure, and ag operations where timing, visibility, and accountability matter. It delivers live GPS tracking, geofencing, and event-based reporting to give managers a clear, accurate picture of what's happening across farms, fields, routes, and bunks without relying on guesswork or manual logs. This presentation will highlight practical use cases in dairy and manure management, including bunk management, chopper, and truck tracking, load verification, and time on task visibility. Guest speakers will discuss how Tracker Pro improves feed delivery accuracy, reduces missed or duplicated work, and provides reliable data on equipment, movement, task duration, and key operational events. So if you're in this webinar, you already have the link, but if you can also scan the QR code to register or share that link with anyone else who you think would benefit from next month's webinar. And that's all that we have for today. So if you want to go ahead and scan that QR code to take the short survey, just to let us know what your thoughts were about today's webinar and the series in general, that would really help us out. But other than that, we are all done for today.